So hi everyone, now we are going to solve quadratic inequalities smaller than 0, bigger than 0. And we also have done in the class quadratic functions. If you have a quadratic function like f of x, let's say x squared and some other things over there, if the a number is positive, you will have such a case. And if you have the a number f of x, a negative number minus x squared plus something, you will have such a case. So x1 and x2, these are the results, the roots, making it equal to 0. And remember that when it's function, the y numbers are giving us the result. The part after x2, when you try any x number, what kind of results will you have? So all of the results you are going to have, they will have positive results. They are all bigger than 0 on y-axis. They are all bigger than 0. That means they are all positive numbers. So when you try some x numbers, between x1 and x2, their results, the y numbers in this area, in this interval, they are all negative numbers. They are all smaller than 0. Simply, we can say negative numbers. And then before x1, if you try some numbers, check that the results of them, the y results, will be always positive. Also for the green one, if you check that, the green one happens the downward because of the a number in here. And before I go that, I need to remind you that to be able to solve these things, we used to do the sign chart. Remember, we used to put the results x1 and x2 in here. We used to say that x1 and x2, making it equal to 0. After x2, that part gives us always positive results, the between part negative results, the previous part from minus infinity to the x1, any x number you try, you will always have positive results. So for the green one, x1 and x2, these are the roots. When you prepare the sign chart, x1 and x2, all the x numbers from minus infinity to plus infinity that we can try. So these are making it equal to 0. Check the results. When you have some numbers bigger than x2, in this case, the y results of them, they are always negative numbers. They are always minus numbers. I told you to start with minus. If you see minus in here, start with minus over there. So I want you to realize this idea even from the last part that we did, from the graph. Make the connection. So after x2, whatever you try, it will always be negative result because of the graph. The graph is downward when you have a number as a negative number. So then the part between x1 and x2, check whatever x number you try, all the results will be over here, which is bigger than 0. They are all positive numbers, and before x1, they are all negative numbers. So let's solve one question in the next page, and I think then it will be enough. One question, which is the hardest example in here, I think is this one, the last one, because most of you are failing in the last one. So most of you are doing this operation. One side has to be 0. Check the other examples over there. Most of the time we have the 0 ready, but if you don't have the 0, you move this number to the other side, you make it 0. So you move the x squared other side and you make this part 0, but when you move the x squared other side, it must be minus x squared and plus 3x and plus 4. So to be able to factorize this case, we must also factorize this part as minus 1 and plus 1. So it gives us an extra job to do. That's why I told you in the lesson, in the class, keep the x squared positive. The 0, it can be in the right side, also it can be in the left side. It doesn't matter where the 0 is. Keep the x squared positive. So leave nothing in the left side, move them all to the right side. X squared is going to stay as positive, plus 3x, positive 3x will be negative, and plus 4 will be minus 4. Then since we have a positive one in here, this becomes the simple case. You are able to factorize it so quickly. So the middle place sign goes to big number, and you have the small number plus 1. So to make it equal to 0, we are factoring to find the roots of it. So the two roots of it, it will be x plus 1 is equal to 0, x equals minus 1, x minus 4 equals 0, x equals 4. So then we prepare the sign chart. Minus 1 and plus 4, these are making it equal to 0, which is we are comparing the signs of this expression, the whole expression. So should I start with plus or minus over there? To be able to check that, we check the a number in here. A number is equal to positive 1 right now. So it is positive. So I start with plus. After every root, we change the sign. After every root, we change the sign in here. So then to be able to choose which interval, we go back to the example. We read this example right now from right to the left. The expression that we want, we checking, is in the right side. So we read this from right side to the left side. The whole expression should be this part of inequality sign. It means smaller than 0. Smaller than 0 means that we should choose the minus part. So the final answer, x element, minus 1 plus 4. So can I include minus 1 and plus 4 in here? Do we have equal? Yes, we do. So we use brackets to be able to show that they are included. So in this video also, let's make it done, which is reading this sign. So this sign can be in any way. So the open part means the bigger, the closed part means the smaller. In any case, the closed part means the smaller, and the open part means the bigger. If you have such an expression, when I read this expression from left to the right, x smaller than 3. Then I read it from right to the left, 3 bigger than x. If you have something like this, read this from left to the right, 7 smaller than x. From right to the left, x bigger than minus 7. So it doesn't matter where x is. You can read it in any way. Or let's change this sign over there in here. Let's make it inverse. So if it is inverse, minus 7 bigger than x, or x smaller than minus 7. Let's make it in the video. Also, one more thing that I need to show this in the video, which is if you have such a case about the sign chart, how to show that, minus 1 and 4. If you have to choose this part, so that makes two intervals, you see that x element, all the numbers from minus infinity to minus 1, and we use the union sign from 4 to plus infinity if you choose the two intervals in here. Thanks for listening.